Hey, so my name's Joseph. I'm from Texas, and I've been in Japan for about 15 years.
Culture shock as American you had in Japan? Like anything you mentioned?
I really like Tokyo. I think one thing that is always hard to get used to is
Japanese people are kind of maybe scared of the US a little bit. They think it's dangerous.
Now, after living in Japan for 12 years, what do you think about your home country, United States? Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Takashi. So today I'm going to interview Americans living in Japan. What it's really like to live in Japan as an American. And if you want to start learning Japanese today, there's a course made for someone like you. So check the link in the description or QR code here. Okay, let's get started. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, hello, my name is Tolu. I'm from the US, originally from Wisconsin, but I go to school in Illinois, and I'm here in Tokyo as an exchange student
For how long?
for half a year.
Half a year.
Yes.
Okay. And then you mentioned you study abroad when you were in high school, right?
Yes.
In Nagoya.
In Nagoya, yes. That was just for 1 month.
Just 1 month.
Yes, at a local high school, and I also did a homestay. as
Wow,
well.
okay.
Hello, my name is Jenny. I'm 31 years old. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I've been living in Japan for the last year studying Japanese at a language school.
So I'm from Dallas, Texas. I've been here almost 4 years, and I teach English.
Okay. And then you're married with Japanese man.
Yes, I am.
Born in New York, raised in Georgia.
Okay.
Been in Japan for over 10 years, maybe like 12-ish years. I am a video game designer.
For Japanese company.
Yes, for a Japanese company.
Hey, so my name's Joseph. I'm from Texas, and I've been in Japan for about 15 years, and I run a large YouTube channel called What I've Learned.
Initially, 15 years ago, what brought you to Japan and how difficult was moving to Japan?
I came to Japan as a study abroad student. In terms of difficulty moving here, it was my first time moving to a big city. I can't really say if it was difficult because I was coming to Japan or if it was difficult just because I grew up in a small town in Texas, so I've never lived in a big city or anything like that. But yeah, I guess it was difficult just simply because of the language barrier.
Yep.
Right? I just felt like I was always lost. I didn't know what was going on. People are super nice, and even if they have a little bit of English, they'll still try their best to use that to help you out and stuff. So I wouldn't say it was that difficult. It was actually quite easy.
Just language barrier.
Yeah, the language barrier is the most difficult thing for me, for sure.
So I first came to Japan on a 2-month study abroad in 2019 because I was at my university for my undergrad in America, and my major had a program where you needed to study abroad in a country that spoke the language you were studying, which for me was Japanese. So I came to Japan. It was kind of the only option I had, and I met my then boyfriend, now husband, at his university. So after COVID, we did 2.5 years long distance, and I moved here as soon as I could. And now I really like living here. I definitely had sort of a realistic image of it before coming to Japan because of my study abroad. So I think it was a little easier for me to adjust than others, though there are still parts of Japanese culture that are a little difficult for me.
I just had an opportunity, honestly. I had never been outside of the US, and I already kind of was into Japan and stuff through martial arts, video games and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I was just like, you know what? Let's try. I had a chance. Let's take it. So I came here, liked it, stayed, because I was only supposed to be here for 10 months.
Okay.
Right? And then I was like, you know what? Let's try actually staying here full time. And then I did. And I was like, all right, cool, let's find a job. And I did. And then here we are.
The whole time was in Tokyo?
No, actually, I was in a place called Oita in Beppu.
What?
Yep. For school.
There's a school in Oita, right?
Yes.
What was it called?
It's called Aritsumekan. Yes, APU. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, every time, some random person not from Japan, they lived in Oita, I assume that's cool, yeah.
Good assumption.
Well, I've always wanted to come to Japan ever since I was little. I love the culture and I'm into anime. And so I found an opportunity to come here to study Japanese, and I just kind of went with it. And it was kind of easy, honestly. I had a company called Coco Japan help me. They specialize in supporting people coming to Japan that want to study Japanese.
The language school.
Yes. They helped me with everything, finding a school, finding a place to live, and just guided me through the entire process.
So you already knew where to live and where to go to school and stuff before moving, basically.
Yeah. I knew I wanted to be in Tokyo. I'm a city girl from Chicago, so I wanted to be in a big city. And there's so many language schools here, so plenty to choose from. And they had a list of different language schools to choose from. So,
nice.
Yeah.
So I came for school, so I'm taking classes here, and then I'll transfer them back to the US, and then I'm also doing an internship here.
Internship here.
Yeah.
When you came here for the first time as American, like what was a culture shock you experienced? There's something you didn't expect, even though I guess you researched a bit of Japanese culture.
The high school that I went to didn't have like a cafeteria. There was like a little panya inside the shop, but there wasn't like a cafeteria. So like making your food, or my host mom made me lunch every day. So
Bento.
Bento. So
That's true. Yeah, that's the thing I always notice in American movies, in teenage American movies. Like there's a food court, I guess, like in the high school. Like we don't have it. Yeah, we bring our own food. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So maybe that was one of them. Yeah.
I see.
I was trying to get a part-time job
Yeah.
at an arcade. And so, I called them, I filled out everything, submitted it. They called me back. And this, it kind of gets into a little bit of like Japanese culture, but they called me back and he was explaining to me that I didn't get the job, right? Like, the position wasn't there. But the way he said it, he was like, he said, whatever he said, and he was like, kedo, 10. And in
Not
America,
direct, basically.
not direct, yeah, exactly. And in America, when you're speaking, especially to staff, the staff has to be direct because there's a sense of they have to own up to the fault that they're giving. Whereas in Japan, it's just like, I didn't say it, you understand it, so I don't have to get in trouble, right? We're good. But at that time, I wasn't used to that. And so I was like, kedo nani? On the phone. He's like, shireshimashita. And he like kind of went off to say the rest. It's kind of, the idea of just like infinite heiwa, right? Just kind of like peace.
Yes.
And so with that, part of the peace is to not be abrasive. So at any point in time, if you can just kind of naturally understand what they're getting at without having to be like, I don't like this, blah, 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 then in that case, it's like, all right, everybody's happy. Now I realize I kind of put that poor guy in the spot. So sorry about that, man.
I like a lot about Japan. This one thing that's really shocked me is I think a lot of Japanese people, from my experience, and maybe I've mainly been in Tokyo, maybe this is more Tokyo, people are very polite, but that doesn't necessarily mean they are kind or helpful. So I've been wondering, I sort of thought about since I moved here, if Japan is really still group-minded, or if it's intensely individualistic, where not so much now wanting to keep group harmony, but not wanting it to be awkward.
Right.
So you'll like maybe there's an old woman on the train, no one's giving her their seat. They all see her. That's not very good for the group.
Yeah.
So can modern Japan still be seen as group-minded? I don't know.
That's true. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I think, in my opinion, one of the reasons is they're just being too shy. They just don't want to, like take action from their own side, unless nobody gonna say no. If someone asks, maybe they might help, but they're not gonna do from their own side, I think.
Yeah, I absolutely, I've sort of seen that too, where it seems people are very self-conscious. And they don't want to be judged or do the wrong thing, so instead they do nothing.
Right.
Which is sort of like the bystander effect kind of thing.
Nice.
Where in Texas, where I grew up, people will share their opinions a lot. They may disagree with you very publicly. They may not always be polite to you. But if anyone's in trouble, they will help. And they will support their community.
Right, that's true.
So that's a difference to me there.
So one of the things that I noticed was like when I finally went back to America, I was like, whoa, people are so much bigger here. Or bigger in America.
I mean, physically.
Yeah. It's just like, people are so thin in Japan. Also, I remember when I first came here, the city was so walkable. And one of the things that was tricky was I came here when I was 20. So the drinking age in America is 21. So suddenly I show up and it's like, oh, I guess it's like drinking time. That was pretty interesting. And it was also interesting to see how, when I first came here, I felt Japanese people are a lot more reserved than Americans. They definitely don't show their emotions as much as clearly. And so it was interesting to see the contrast when they start drinking. Because there's this impression of people go to drink so they have a reason or an excuse to show their true feelings. And then afterwards, if they do something embarrassing, you can be like, oh, it's cool, man. So I feel like there's a little bit of, social lubricant, as they say. So it's interesting to see how big of a contrast there was.
That's why I think some people say drinking culture is necessary to communicate with Japanese people, because that's the moment you actually truly interact with them. That I don't know if it's good or bad, but that's how it is, I think, here. Yeah. Before continuing the video, let me tell you one thing. If you want to come to Japan either traveling or living, I like to do this beforehand. And it is learning Japanese. Why? Because I guarantee you, it will make your time in Japan more fun and meaningful. To truly understand the culture, you cannot ignore a language, especially in Japan where many locals don't speak English. But if you don't know how to start, there's a course made for complete beginners, and it is Speak Basic Japanese in 15 days. The course includes a 200+ page textbook and over 4 hours of video lessons. The textbook covers vocabulary, grammar, and useful phrases for daily life, along with sentence patterns, real example, and practical exercise. The video lessons focus on pronunciation and intonations, which are difficult to learn from textbook alone, helping you listen and practice how Japanese is actually spoken. This course will not make you fluent, but it will give you a strong foundation to have simple conversation with locals and enjoy Japan more. So if you want to start learning Japanese, or if you tried before and it didn't work out, this course is the best place to begin. Check the link in the description or QR code here. Let's start learning Japanese today. When it comes to lifestyle, how different is it from America and Japan?
Oh man. So one thing I will say this, and this is not to paint Japan in a bad light, but I did not really drink honestly that much until I came to Japan. And I think there's a couple of things for that. One, Japan doesn't demonize alcohol as much as America does. Two, I was always my own driver in America, right?
Right.
So like, I would go places, I would go out to clubs weekly and never drink. I would just go there, do my thing, and go back home. But, in Japan, because I don't have to worry about, driving, it's just that much more chill to be like, all right, I might as well go ahead and get a drink or 2 or 16, right? And also just like how people handle alcohol here compared to America. And by that, I mean, not just like how they handle it in their body, but just like the idea of, like I said, in America, the idea of anybody drinking at all is still kind of seen like, oh, you're irresponsible. Whereas in Japan, it's just like, oh, let's relax, unwind. Everybody go get a drink. If you get too drunk, so be it.
No, the lifestyle is different for sure. I feel like you can get so much more done in a single day because the transportation is like so much more efficient and everything's so much closer and packed together. Whereas in America, or Texas at least, it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna have lunch with my friend. And then I'm going to come back and then I'm going to have dinner with my friend. It's like you get in your car, find parking, takes like 25 minutes to link up and whatever. But here it's like you hop on a train and then, okay, I just had lunch, so let me just walk into a cafe to do my work there. And then, I can walk out of the cafe and the next meeting is like another 10-minute train ride. So it's like so streamlined. I swear the konbinis kind of change everything about your lifestyle.
Yeah, it's game changer, yeah. I mean, it's actually a convenience store,
Yeah, totally. Like,
and you can pay tax as well.
Oh yeah, at the convenience store. Yeah, you pay your bills and stuff, and all that.
So I think the biggest thing that I've noticed about school differences in Japan compared to America is the commute, because in the U.S. we all live on campus in the dorms or like right off campus in apartments, so it's very easy to get to classes. Like it only takes 5 to 20 minutes, at least at my university, to walk maybe from north end of campus to south end of campus. Whereas in Japan, my commute takes like an hour 10 minutes every day. So I think that's the biggest difference.
I see.
And learning how to time that and get to classes on time.
Well, a big one for me is I take trains now when I've been driving since I was 16.
Wow.
So that's a big difference.
Did you like it? Did you like driving in general? Or you didn't like it?
Yeah, I really liked it.
Okay.
Because I could just play music, so it's kind of like your own karaoke box. It was always really fun for me.
That's true. Okay. Do you miss it, or do you still drive sometimes? Yeah.
When I go to America, I drive. But I don't drive in Japan right now because I'm still studying kanji. And I don't want to misread something or be too distracted.
So when you say you're from the United States, what kind of typical reaction do Japanese people have?
They say like, where are you from? I just say, okay, US, right? I feel like it would just be kind of egotistical of me to be like, I'm from this state. But then always they're like, no, which state? And then I'm like, New York. And then like, oh, that's so cool. And then it's funny because I always, at that point, tell them, it's like, we're in Tokyo. In America, you guys being from Tokyo is so much cooler than me being from New York.
Really?
Absolutely. Oh. And so it's very much grass is greener on the other side, which also I love how that saying is the exact same in Japanese.
Yeah, no, it's always either neutral or positive. To give you an example, when I was in Belgium, and this was like right when I think it was right when Trump got elected, and then some guy, he heard that I was American and he started like talking to me about like Trump, and he's like, oh, the political atmosphere affects the whole world, so we should be able to vote in elections and stuff. I was like, okay, man, like I'm just trying to get some waffles. But in Japan, it's just like, where are you from? I'm from Texas in America. They're like, oh, that's cool. Good to meet you, man. And it's like always just like they're chill. They don't have like some like thing that they need to communicate to me about America. They're just like, oh, that's cool, great to meet you. So it's like neutral or positive.
What's their image of Texas?
When I say America, they're like, oh, okay, America, cool. But then when I say Texas, they're like, oh, kakkoi. Like, oh, that's so cool. Like, oh yeah, like cowboys and barbecue and stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's Texas. Or like, I think there's kind of this like wild image to it, like wild outdoorsy type thing.
Many people think any American must be so confident. I think because Americans have a direct speaking style. So we don't really add things like I think or maybe very often. Just very clear.
Yeah.
So I think people believe we're very confident. And often people ask me about politics.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so that's... And they expect me to know all about it. And sometimes they'll know politic things that I don't know. I'm so surprised.
Do you think Japanese people are into politics? I think maybe they are, but they don't talk about it, I guess. Right? What do you think?
I think they are interested, but I mean, sort of what we were talking about earlier. If you don't want to bring negative attention to yourself, and politics is a really easy way to have a disagreement.
That's true. Yeah, that's
So
true.
even if people study it themselves, they may not say their opinion clearly.
So true.
Or ask, what do you think about the prime minister? And wait to hear the other opinion first.
I think Japanese people are kind of maybe scared of the U.S. a little bit. They think it's dangerous. I worked with Japanese high school students this past summer, and I asked them if they would ever come to the U.S. And most of them said yes, but only to visit, never to live, just because they say it's so dangerous.
I see.
Yeah.
I think past couple years especially, I think gun shooting news on the Japanese media about the United States, I think it's rapidly increasing. So that's why I think people have that kind of image now. Yeah, I think it was not a thing probably like 10 years ago maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, especially with the political climate the U.S. is dealing with right now. So I think it's just there's always something in the news, something going on in the U.S. and it's terrifying seeing it from like the outside now.
Now, after living in Japan for 12 years, what do you think about your home country, United States?
That so each state is held together with packing tape and peanuts. It's crazy over there. So I will say this, right, without getting too political and whatnot. The president before 2016, we'll keep it vague, right? During that time, I had some friends that were back in the States still, and I heard both sides of the story, right? Some people were like, oh yeah, this guy is amazing, this guy is awesome. Because of him, I was able to do this. Other people were like, this guy sucks. Because of him, this happened to me. With the current situation going on in the government, all like that diverse kind of cast of people I was talking to, not a single one of them is enjoying it. Almost everybody is unanimously like, I'm looking for a passport, I'm looking for a visa to get out of this place. Like, it's people tell me so much, they're like, yo, it's good that you're not here. I'm glad that you're not here with us right now because it is bad. And so I think that's wild. I think it's unfortunate too, because I mean, amongst those group of friends, like, people being on both sides of the fence kind of meant something. It was like, all right, well, you can't make everybody happy all the time. Right. But now that everybody that I know is all on the same page of get out, right.
I think the biggest thing that stood out to me, honestly, was how captivated people are by politics. Like they're so emotionally invested in politics, and what do you think about politics? Like, before I can be your friend, I need to know what you think about politics. And it's like they're like constantly thinking about this, and then it'll affect them emotionally. They're getting really frustrated or mad about something going on TV. But when I first came here, what I noticed pretty quickly is like, oh, people aren't like worried about politics so much. Either they're not interested or it doesn't affect them emotionally as much. The reason Japan is so peaceful, I think, is partly because of that. People aren't always fighting about politics or because it's gotten so bad in America where it's like, I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican. And then immediately, the person might think you're a bad person. So then in Japan, like, it's very rarely you have to worry about that.
Yeah, I think from my perspective here, living in Japan, it's interesting to see how politics are playing out from an outside perspective and just viewing it not as a citizen within the U.S., even though I still am a citizen, but seeing it from an outside perspective has been very interesting. Wow.
There's many things that I still appreciate about the U.S., even more so now that I've lived outside of it. Like, you know, it's so diverse over there. People express themselves so like comfortably, but at the same time, there's so many things that are kind of scary with like the shootings or whatever. It can feel like safe and maybe not so organized compared to Japan. So I feel like there's pros and cons to both like the US and Japan.
There's no perfect country. Every country has issues, and I think you just need to find the country where there's enough strengths where those negative things aren't as negative to you, which for me is Japan. But for me, with my home state of Texas, I really like Texas because of the area I grew up. But America's so huge, it's really hard to say overall what I think of it as a country.
When it comes to Texas, what do you miss?
The food. I miss Texas barbecue, and then my family and my family dog. And of course, because I'm here, I miss a lot of family events. And family miss events for me too. Like when I graduated from my master's, nobody could come. And then same when we got married, they weren't able to come. Because they couldn't come to our elopement that we ended up doing, I mean, we have to do things like we often go to America. We'll be going over this Christmas to do a wedding party there in the States for all my friends' family there. Because it's the only way we can really see everyone. And a big part I miss is my family and friends in America can't get to know my husband very well.
How come?
Just because they don't have much time to see him. Of course, like texting or things like that. He's in the family group chat. But it's not quite the same as getting to easily get together on a weekend and hang out.
That's true.
So I really wish we were able to do that.
How often do you go back? Like only once a year or something?
About once a year. I mean, airplane tickets are so expensive right now.
That's true, yeah.
So it's about all we can do. So I'm definitely fortunate that I can go back once a year. We don't have kids or anything right now, so there's fewer expenses. So we make it sort of a priority for us.
The one thing that I think that I've really come to appreciate about the U.S. while I've been living here in Japan is just the diversity, especially in Chicago. There's just so many different people. And I think it's nice to have like all those different cultures and different backgrounds in the same space. In Japan, it is kind of like on a daily basis. Like whenever you walk into, like maybe you want to try a new restaurant, but like you're outside and you see that there's only Japanese people inside, you're kind of reminded that you're not from here. And that can be tough at times. Whereas in the US, everybody's like different. So it doesn't matter if you're also different because nobody really like, I think that's kind of like the beauty of America. Like everybody belongs because everyone's different. But here it's just a little bit more in your face.
How people are able to express themselves more comfortably. And like, I think people maybe here are just a little bit more reserved. And, you know, there's like this societal like norm or like rule to like fit in and not like step out of line. Whereas I feel like in the US, people are more like individuals, I guess. Yeah. And they can. Like I do like that, yeah. Just because I never felt like I fit in. You know, sometimes I can be a little awkward. So, yeah, that's the one thing I do miss. And
yeah, I think what I like about America is that like there's no like definition of being a foreigner kind of thing. Yeah. Like, you know, like if you speak English in the States, they see you as American first, and then like, you know, and then they find out I'm not from America, you know. But I think it's the opposite in Japan. Like even if you speak Japanese, they think you're from somewhere else first. Yeah. If you look foreign, I think anyone can be American. I think that's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Japan is not my country of birth, right? Like I take my shoes off when I enter your house, like, right? This is not where I'm from. But that being said, there's still some things where it's like I'll see a mindset and you probably hear this, like, you know, if you've watched people online a lot, there's a sense of people hating the phrase shoganai, right? Where it's like, oh, there's nothing I can do, shoganai.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah,
yeah exactly. Yeah. And it's like, I feel like, you know, of course, there's some times where that's applicable, but there's a lot of times where it's like, yeah, shogaru.
That's the American mindset, I guess.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. For, I guess, as a very small example, I remember I was doing something at work and I was asking them, and we were speaking Japanese, right? And so I was asking them something and they were saying, that's going to be a little bit difficult. And I had to explain to them, it's like, no, I need you to tell me, can we do it or can we not do it? Because when I hear it's going to be difficult, my mind says, okay, what are the roadblocks? How do we make it not difficult? How do we get past it? But the Japanese saying of is,
難しい、確かに。
yeah, it's like, 難しそうなんだけど。
Right way to say no.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, it's like no, it's like if you want to say no, please tell me no. Don't say it's difficult because I'll find a way around it, and you won't be happy.
That's something you miss about the States.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, like that level of straightforwardness.
I see.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you're gonna be in Japan for half a year, right? This time for as a student and going back to Chicago.
Yes.
Like in the future, what's your plan? Do you think you're gonna be living in Japan for a long time, or do you think you're just gonna visit Japan and then keep living in the States?
This is really hard for me because I love Tokyo, but I also love where I go to school right now.
You mean Chicago?
Yes,
Okay.
Chicago. So I think I can see myself living long term in Chicago, but I can also see myself living here, maybe not for all of my life, but just temporarily in Tokyo as well.
Just temporary. Why?
I think the main reason is just because of the work-life.
Work-life balance.
Yeah, the work-life balance here is not the best.
You've experienced, you would you say?
I don't know if I'm working as an intern right now, but this is a really hard question just because I really like where I live right now in the US, but I also love Tokyo as well. But I can see myself living long-term in Chicago, which is where I go to school right now. But I can also see myself living here in Tokyo temporarily, but maybe not long-term.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, like, I wouldn't be here in Tokyo, I think, if I was not a YouTuber. Yeah. Lots of my friends from school doing like 9 to 5, and then like it's By the way, it's Saturday today, but some of my friends still working like even today. Yeah. Not super common, but it's still happening here,
Monday
right?
to Saturday, they work?
Monday to Friday, if they cannot finish their work Saturday. Like, yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. The only reason I started to think about that more is because I was thinking about, I'm not married, but I was thinking like, what am I going to do once I have a kid? Like, do I want to have my children raised in Japan, or do I want them raised in America? And to be totally honest, I'm 60% sure I'll be in Japan like probably the rest of my life. But the other 40% is maybe like I'll live in Europe. I don't think I would move back to America, to be totally honest.
He really wants to try living overseas because it's such a positive experience for me. And so I think for a year or 2 years, we want to try living in America. And I think also that sort of experience helps us understand each other even more.
Right.
And when it comes to having kids in the future, that allows us to raise the kids in more of not only a bilingual, but cultural environment,
That's true.
which I really want to be able to do. And so we're excited to, at some point in the future, we don't know when yet, move to Texas probably for a little bit.
So I leave literally like next week. It's a mix of emotions. I'm really sad. Like I loved my life here in Japan, but I have some big goals and aspirations to travel the world and be like a travel content creator. And I just feel like I might have more opportunities doing that back home. Japan will always have like such a special place in my heart. So I do definitely see myself coming back here again one day. I think maybe once I'm done traveling and like want to settle down or something.
Right now, I have no reason to leave so much. I always told myself that if I do have a kid in Japan and whatnot, I would want them to at least grow up partially in America. So that way they would, have like a sense of like their roots and whatnot. I wouldn't force them to live fully one place or the other, but like that would be kind of a sign for me to be like, okay, I gotta go back and at least live a little bit back in America. But aside from that, for now, I'm chilling.
Any advice for those who want to move to Japan from the United States?
Yeah, if you want to move to Japan and live in Japan, the first thing you should be trying to do is learn the language, because from there you're just going to learn so much about kind of the Japanese worldview, how the Japanese societal context works, or the social context, right? Because things are going to feel a little tricky, and you're probably not going to understand, why certain things, why certain social situations come up. Like you have all these different concepts, like read the air, or like kuki o yomu, right? And it's like, it's hard to get a feel for what exactly that means. Things are going to be pretty easy here if you just pay attention and try and follow the rules and respect the rules. Because I think in the States, this is something I was thinking about the other day, in the States, it's like kind of a cool thing if you're like, I don't care what people think. But in Japan, it's kind of like, oh, so you're like a social outcast or something? Like you can't read the social context? Like you should care about how people think. So like there's a lot of rules in Japan. And if you just like relax and try and think about like what purpose they're serving, or like don't even think about it, just follow them.
Yeah, I think there's a saying that emphasizes that example: the nail gets sticks out, gets hammered down, right?
But then in English, we have a phrase that's the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So it's like the person who stands out gets they get the attention and maybe some kind of reward for it. But
Japan,
yeah, but in Japan, it's like
hammer down.
yeah, you hammer it down, right? Like, you know, if you're gonna appreciate all the safety and all these like, you know, efficient things about Japan, try and think about like, okay, maybe that these certain parts of the mindset that you don't like, they're actually what's allowing that to happen.
You do need to know some Japanese.
Okay, yeah.
Also, when you do move here, get out of the expat communities. It's okay, of course, to have other friends who are foreigners, but it's not going to really serve you if you want to assimilate with Japanese society. And also, a lot of people come in on English teaching visas because they're quite easy to get if you are a native English speaker. But if you don't like teaching, please don't do that.
It doesn't work.
You can do it, but there is a problem where for English education, it's not as good as it could be because a lot of people are coming in who don't care about education,
Right.
which I feel like is unfair to the students. So I really love it. It's cheesy, but it is like my ikigai. So I love teaching. I love my students. So seeing teachers who just want to come to have like a vacation in Japan on a visa kind of breaks my heart a little bit for the kids who are being taught. Instead, I recommend people try to come on tourist visas or designated activities, or I think there's now a digital nomad visa of some type. And that kind of thing exists and is possible. And if you don't have experience teaching in America or have an English degree of some kind, then likely the job that you can get teaching English in Japan is not going to be a good one anyway.
That's true.
I definitely recommend that you come and like experience it first, and then you can make the decision whether or not you want to move here.
So people say Japan is not for everyone, and I think I agree. Some people couldn't handle it, but like, what kind of people do you think that's suitable for Japan life?
I feel like if you're okay with being alone sometimes, because I feel like or just compared to the US, there's a lot of places in Japan,
You can go alone, yeah.
that you can go alone. Like there's a lot of automated or like ichiran. Like you don't have to talk to anyone when you're there. You can just go there and eat. So I think there's going to be some days where you're alone, and
If you don't mind.
yeah, if you're okay with that, then you should move to Japan.
Well, first of all, don't expect it to be like an anime or like vacation. I think people love to like romanticize living in Japan, and like I get it, like I did it too. But daily life in Japan is like completely different than actually like traveling here. But if you really want to come to Japan, I really suggest starting at a language school, just because learning Japanese is definitely important, especially if you want to live here long term and find a job after school. And it also gives you like a feel for what life in Japan is like, and if you want to stay long term or not. Yeah, because they have programs like anywhere from 3 months to 2 years. So it just opens up more opportunities, especially if you want to work. And I know a lot of jobs require like at least N3 or N2 level of Japanese. So
I see.
yeah.
Keep an open mind. It's a lot of fun. You will never 100% fit in, so you should be okay with that. But also at the same time, everybody's nicer than you think, honestly. I've had nothing but good times here. I can count on my fingers over the 12 years how many times I've gotten into situations specifically because I was American or not even Japanese. So I would say, take it in stride. It's not for everybody. So also so don't feel bad if you need to peace out, right? Take the adventure and, just save and quit when you need to.
You speak Japanese?
ちょっと話します。
ちょっと話す。4年日本にいるわけですよね、今。
そうですね。だからちょっと恥ずかしい。
恥ずかしい。英語の先生をやってると、日本語話す機会っていうのはどうですか？喋ることある日本語。
なんか私の生徒と一緒に毎日日本語を話すんですけど、生徒は中学生と高校生の男の子、その日本語はちょっと似合わないかな。
ああ、なるほどね。
そう
なるほどね
like
確かに確かに確かに
ガチすげえや
確かに。
そんな感じだからちょっと
ちょっとテキストブックにないような日本語ばっかだ。
そうなんか TikTok の日本語の感じだから
スラングばっかだ。
そうそうそうそうそう
確かに綺麗ではないね。
そう、
確かに。
もう高校生の時独学で勉強しましたが、大学に入ったら授業として学びました。いろいろな教科書とか、使いました。
で今日本に住んでて困ることありますか、日常生活で。
時々なんか敬語とか、なんかそういう
確かに。仕事とかで。
そうです。まあ仕事はほぼ英語。例えば、なんか店とかレストランとか。
はいはい。
まあでも、3年間でちょうどやっとこうなんか中ぐらいの会話できて、
カンバゼーションぐらい。
コンバーセーションぐらいの会話できて、でもこうしばらく働いてたからこうセールス的な仕事をしてたから、その仕事をしてるとだんだんこう急に伸びていて、
なんかどこに住んでるかっていうのはそれほど重要じゃなくて、何の仕事をしてるかと誰と遊んでるかとかっていうのが全然重要だと思う。
確かにさっき話したようにこうなんかもう何十年、10年15年こう20年ぐらい住んでる人でも英語しかできない人もいて、でそれはもうこう日本語を使う必要性がないからなんだよね。だからこう国っていうかライフスタイルで、
確かに。
それ超簡単の超簡単でも逆に
挨拶とか。
そうでそれ逆になんか会話がなんか頑張ってすぎていて発音がなんとなくなんかできるんで、で俺はたまに「すいません、いやこれお願いします」って「日本語喋れる？じゃあブーンっていやそれもう少しゆっくり話してください」みたいんだけど、
今は大丈夫。
そう今まあ大丈夫フリー。
なるほどね。
Okay, thank you for watching so far. How was it? That was interesting. I have lots of American followers and I actually been to the States many times, but I feel like there's more I can do in the States with my camera. So if you have any video idea that I can film in the United States, let me know in the comments. And if you want to start learning Japanese today, there's a course made for someone like you. So check the link in the description or QR code here. See you next time.